You okay? Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be another update on Daisy's journey as a baby with like PRS, Stickler Syndrome and a cleft palate, and I'm going to go into what happened at her pre-op today. So if you would like to find out more about that, then please keep watching. Try and film as much of this as I can with Daisy and a three-legged giraffe with me, but if she does get a bit bored, then I'm just going to sit her down next to me so she can play with some toys. So we had Daisy's pre-op this morning. This is primarily for other parents who are at this point or like wanting to know what happens with your baby's cleft repair and stuff like that, because I feel at the moment like I wish there was more that I could like find out, and I wish I knew exactly what was going to happen, or at least in my hospital or in our case, and it is quite hard to find that information sometimes, or at least something that's like either really up to date or very specific to you. And obviously not every parent wants to sort of share their story and what they're going through, so I'm trying really hard to do this video today and be factual and useful, even though I feel, and I don't know if you can tell, I feel very sort of emotional and I'm not 100% with it today. I'm very like foggy in my head. So we went there this morning and I was told by like my mum like 29 years ago when I had mine, like what mine was like and what happened, and our cleft nurse also filled us in as well. So I knew it wasn't going to be a massively long thing, but like Manchester's quite far away from us really in like, well, as the crow flies, it's not too far, but traffic's a nightmare. So it was one of those like a lot of effort for not much at all. And I knew at the pre-op they would do various things like to check Daisy's health, but I didn't really know like what it was for exactly, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. So we got there and we checked in. Right, so she is sat down there playing, so you might still hear a little bit of background noise, but at least I can sort of concentrate because she's such a wiggle bum these days. Yeah, so we got in and we weren't actually waiting that long. In fact, I think they saw us a little bit early, which was nice, and we went into sort of like a little sort of examination room really, and it was a lovely nurse, and she's never going to watch this, she's never going to see this, but I wish I could have thanked her more for putting me at ease because she was so nice. Because when I go back to that hospital, I have very bad and like negative associations of being there. It wasn't where Daisy was born. I have nothing bad to say about the hospital as a whole, but because we had the whole situation of like Daisy having a tracheostomy and she wasn't meant to stay at this hospital, it was meant to be a routine visit and she was meant to come home the same day, so it was all very hard. And every time I go back there, like it's so weird, honestly, like something happens to me, my whole body gets really like stiff and I kind of seize up, I start to feel very queasy and I'm very like nervous, I'm very like sort of like forced smiles, very over anxious, not really thinking straight, stumbling over my words, and it's a horrible feeling. And sorry, I hate it when this happens. I'm sure you do too. But she was really lovely and she helped to put me at ease a lot, and she went through various checks with Daisy and asked me various questions about like her health and well-being, like how old she is, and just confirming everything and all of her details and stuff. So after after that, there were a few things done. So she listened to her chest, so she listened to the front of her chest with a stethoscope, and then her back as well, to see if her chest was clear and if there were any issues. So that was fine, even though Daisy's had like, well, she's been under the weather. She didn't see that as a problem at all. I told her that she'd had like conjunctivitis, and that wasn't an issue whatsoever. And she also checked her ears, just to check that they weren't inflamed and there wasn't an ear infection, because obviously the ear, nose and throat, they're very interconnected, and she needs to be in good health for that. She has got waxy build-up in one of her eardrums, which is very common with cleft babies, but that was fine. And then after that, 2 swabs were taken. So one was in the inside of her nose, and one, really weird, was like a swab of her inner thigh, where her like nappy ends, so like your sort of groin area, that like creasy bit there. So she swabbed that, and I think that's just to check for like things like MRSA, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But she took those swabs and they were sent off just to check. And then the final thing that was done was a blood test, and that is a prick on the thumb. And then they squeeze their thumb to get like plenty of blood out for a sample, just to test that everything's okay and check the blood count and things like that. Daisy was actually fine with this. I don't think the prick in itself hurt that much. She kind of had it done and then was fascinated. And more than anything, she just wanted a hand back and to play with like her blood, because my daughter, that's just Daisy all over. So that was done, and then we were handed a little form to go up to medical observation, where they would photograph Daisy, so from the front and from the sides of her face. So that was up on like the 4th floor, so we had to go up there as well. And Daisy's already had this done before last time we had a checkup, and I think the main reason for this is that it's a craniofacial thing. So with PRS, the jaw starts very far back when they're born. It's incredibly recessed, and as babies grow, their jaw comes forwards, and it obviously changes the shape of their face, and they become like more normal looking, and I use that term very loosely just so you understand what I mean. So that was done, and then that was it. So it was incredibly straightforward, but it really is like a health checkup. They didn't weigh her, which I was quite surprised about. I thought they would do that, but I guess she's already qualified for weight anyway. She's not really had any weight gain issues, so it was just to sort of all go ahead, and then like any chance for me to answer questions. So Daisy is having surgery on Valentine's Day, and I don't know, when I sat there, obviously Daisy's not been very well, so I did wonder whether or not like it would be cancelled, and part of me was like on one, like, you know, one side of my shoulder, like Angel and Devil. The Devil was like, well, it would be quite good if it was cancelled, because then you don't have to go through with it, and we don't want to go through with this, do we, Charlotte? And like, we don't want this to happen. But then the Angel on my shoulder was like, well, no, you do, because it's for the best. It's not, you know, she's not undergoing surgery, you know, just for the fun of it, or just like to hurt her and make her uncomfortable or any of that. Like, it is for the best, and it needs doing. But I don't know, I can't like vocalize how I feel. I can't even like write it down, and it's just like I just don't want her to be away from me. I don't want her to hurt. I don't want to worry about her again, and like I've worried about her so much since she was born, and it's just that hospital, that doesn't help either, and I feel like I'm giving it a really bad reputation. I'm not. It's just the association. It's just like our experience, and it was just really hard. So now it's like we've got 4 days pretty much to sort of get ready, and I have started packing some things away, like a hospital bag and stuff, and I mean, that's weird in itself, because the last time I packed a hospital bag it was to go in and have her. So it's a weird turn of events. It really is. Like, it's so hard to sort of get yourself in the right mind frame where you think of it as a positive thing, because ultimately, like, I'm worried that something's going to happen to her. I'm just worried about the change, I think, as well. I know it's only temporary, but next week is going to be very, very hard for our family, because Tuesday I won't see Bill, Wednesday I might not see Bill if she has to stay in overnight again, and then like it's going to be a few days of solid like recovery, her being in a lot of pain and discomfort. She's not allowed to have solid food for 2 weeks, and that is not going to bode well with Daisy. There's just like a few limits that we've got, like we can't really take her out, like can't go to baby sensory because she can't risk getting any sort of coughs or colds or bugs or anything while she recovers, and the week following surgery is actually half term, so I'm hopeful that maybe after a week maybe she'll feel a little bit better and we can get out and do things with Bill, because it's like, it's so hard when you've got 2 kids. And last year he sort of had to go on the back burner a lot because Daisy ultimately needed us more in terms of physical time, and Bill is a very capable little boy, and you know, he started school and he was able to dress himself and he can get snacks out of the fridge and stuff and all of that. But I'm a bit done with putting him last sometimes. Like, I want his half term to be fun, and I want him to have nice things to go back to school and chat about with his friends. I don't want him to be sort of sat around bored or being told like in a minute. And it's only 1 week of his life, but it's also like, it's been hard since Daisy's been born. It's the fear of the unknown, it's that anticipation and just the general worry, and I don't know. Like, honestly, sometimes I feel fine. Like, I know that I passed on a syndrome to my daughter. I know I did. I know it was not my fault because I didn't do it intentionally, but it was because of me, and I understand that. And she's the closest I've got in blood and genetics, really, when I think about it. And she and I are one of the same. But there were days like today where it's just like, I just feel really guilty and I'm just really struggling, and I don't quite have anyone that I feel like I can talk to about it properly, because I know that my mum and dad have been through it before with me, but they don't have that. Like, I was a genetic mutation, so it didn't come from either of them. It was just something that happened. They didn't do anything wrong, and I know I've not done anything wrong, but it's very hard to, like, you know, brush it off and be like, oh no, it's cool, I'm a great mum, I know I'm a good mum, I know I am. But it's very, sorry, she needed picking up and she was bored, I think. It's very hard to sort of watch your child go through something that is sort of down to you. And it is quite isolating because there's no one else really that is in this position with me right now. Like, obviously me and Mark both feel the same. We're both dreading it, we're both like upset, we're both finding it very hard at the moment. We're, you know, sometimes we're bickering a little bit more at the moment this week, and things are just generally a little bit tougher, but we're, you know, we're in this together and we will be fine. But it's just that I feel like I've got that added element. High five. And it's just hard, and I wanted to be honest about that, because I'm sure there's going to be a few parents that might stumble across this one day who have also passed on a syndrome, and it's a very unique situation to be in. We pass on everything to our children: our eyesight, our hair colour, our, you know, our talents, our likes and dislikes with food sometimes, our accents, our idiosyncrasies, the way we smile. And there's so much that we pass on that is so good, and there is so much that I have passed on to both of my children that I'm proud of, and I'm proud that, you know, they have like my eyes or my heart. I know that they're very similar to me in that respect, but it's I don't think I've ever had to sort of think of something before and go like, oh, I've given you a harder time in life just by being your mother. I mean, I'm sure you would never pick anybody else to be your mama. And I would never pick anyone else to be my daughter because I love you. But yeah, I just thought I would come on and do an update. What I am going to do next, probably Monday when I've got it all together, is do a what's in Daisy's hospital bag and what we're taking, and like the food we're taking and the clothes or anything that we think will help, just if that helps any parents who are about to go through cleft surgery as well. And then I will post that then, and then I will try and schedule other videos throughout the week, but obviously I'm going to be a bit quiet for obvious reasons. But yeah, I will see you on Monday, and I hope that you will save up a little bit of luck for this one. I know she's going to be fine, but any luck you've got, all well wishes, we'd be very grateful of them. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.